did surgery at the end of June. I'm just stuck in the collar when I'm walking
need this
because he's
back, or-
afraid if I fall down.
Do I need it?
All right, I'd like everybody to welcome everybody to the Board of Adjustments, August 26, 2014 meeting. I'm going to call the meeting to order.
Had to be removed.
First order of business is we have two new members to be sworn in tonight. Lindsay, you want to swear them in?
Sure, please stand. Raise your right hand. Repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Aaron Lawler,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution and laws of the United States
that I will support the Constitution and laws of the United States
and the Constitution and laws of this state,
and the Constitution and laws of this state,
and that I will faithfully and impartially
that I will faithfully and impartially
discharge and perform
discharge and perform
all the duties
all the duties
incumbent upon me as a member of the Board of Adjustments
incumbent upon me as a member of the Board of Adjustments
for the Parish of Ascension,
for the Parish of Ascension,
State of Louisiana,
State of Louisiana.
State of Louisiana,
according to the best of my ability and understanding.
according to the best of my ability and understanding.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Now you won't have to do that no more. All right, going to do a roll call of members now. We have two new ones. I'm Brad Walker, Chairman. Mr. Jim Cecil, not here. Vice Chair, Ms. Kathy Desideer.
Present.
Mr. Mike Bro.
Present.
Mr. Willie Robinson.
Present.
Mr. Devin Graham.
Present.
Mr. Aaron Lawler.
Lawler, yes,
Oh,
present.
All right, at this time, I'd like to open it up for public comment period. If anybody in the audience has anything to say for or against the Board of Adjustments, please come forward. If you're here about one of the items on the agenda, we do a public comment period for each item on the agenda, so you can save it for that item. This is kind of just a generic public comment period. Okay, closing public comment period. Do I hear a motion to accept the minutes of the June 24th meeting?
Yes, sir.
All right, do I hear a second?
Second.
Do what, Willie? All right, got a motion to accept the minutes as written by Mr. Mike and second by Mr. Willie. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Do I hear a motion to accept the written decisions of the June 24th, 2014 meeting?
Yes,
moved
sir.
it.
I will.
Mike,
Well,
Second?
Second.
second. All right, got a motion by Mr. Mike Bro, second by Mr. Devin Graham.
Yes, sir.
I'm gonna probably mess your names up tonight, just letting you know in advance. To approve the written decisions as written, all those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, motion passes. Now, we're on to our first zoning review ID 2442.14 for Lot C-3-A of the William Blair property for Jesse and Leanne Argrave, located on the west side of Hackberry Lane, approximately 1,300 feet south of LA Highway 74. Is somebody here to represent this property? Come forward and sign in, and then get sworn in. Lindsay?
Please raise your right hand. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
And just for everybody to know, we swear in just the applicants. We don't swear in everybody that comes up to the podium, just the applicants, to make sure that everything that was presented to the Board of Adjustments is correct and true. So, tell us what you're trying to do with your property and what hardship you got.
All right, well, I'm Bart Wagasback with Wagasback Homes. I'm the builder of the home for Jesse and Leanne Argrave. And what we have is a house on a already kind of tight lot. Whenever we got the plans to build the house, the customer and draftsman had gotten together after the fact, which the house initially just fit on the lot within the building lines. They went back, made a change which widened the house by 4 feet, but the draftsman never went back and made the adjustment on the plot plan. We went out to farm the house up, start construction, farm the house up per the plot plan. Keep in mind, one of the property lines is down the middle of the street, so it's not a line that we could actually pull and take a measurement off, we kind of figured the plot plan was correct. And turns out because of that 4-foot change, it put us over the building lines. And so we're here asking for a variance. The house has been, we poured the slab, started framing, and whenever I got the survey from my engineer to turn in the slab survey to the bank is whenever we realized that the house had encroached. And since then, we've shut construction down for the last 2 months. In that time, we went to all the utility companies. We're at the end of the street, and we got letters from all the utility companies that they didn't have any issues with this. Energy was the only person that did, and in the meantime, since then, they've come and set a new pole to where everything's okay as far as where the house sits. So we're here asking for a variance.
Has the council approved the revoke of the servitude? I see the utilities, but I don't see the council.
No, sir, not at this time. No, sir.
Well, my issue with all of this is we gave a variance on this lot. And when a house owner changes their house plan and increases the size of their house, I sort of feel it's your duty to make sure that you have either correct plot plan or measure from the center line
Right.
of the road.
I
And
speak?
the problem with you saying that this was all the surveyor's fault, the surveyor's not the person who forms up the house. That's you.
Okay.
And we've got a bigger house now, and I realize we've got a homeowner out there now that's sort of trapped because of someone else's mistake. But I don't want this just to come off as this unknown person created this error.
Well, can I speak? Okay. First off, I'm not blaming the surveyor. Okay, and number two, when the customer came to me, they came to y'all to get the variance. That
Right.
had nothing to do with me. They used their own draftsman. They brought me the plans. I wasn't involved in designing the house, and the house actually didn't grow, which I didn't even know this took place because this took place before they ever even came to sit with me. But they did, they just shifted the house 4 feet because it's offset with their garage, and they just shifted it 4 feet. For whatever reason, you'd have to ask the homeowner and the draftsman. At the end of the day, to be honest with you, the draftsman did not update the plot plan. And my contract says unless my draftsman draws the plans and I'm involved, that I'm not responsible for any mistakes that your draftsman makes. I'm here really just to help my customer out because they didn't know what to do, and the draftsman wasn't doing anything. I'm here just trying to fix the problem.
All right, well, one question. Why are we off on the front and the back? If it was a mistake, it seemed like it would have been one or the other, not both. I mean, you're centering a bigger house. That means a house is even bigger than what we even gave variance
We
on.
didn't know it was bigger, and whenever we went out there to farm up, there was a time whenever the customer lives on the property in a trailer on the front of the property.
Okay.
So he's there. Well, whenever my farm guys got there and started farming up, he asked them to start the farm on that side 10 foot from the fence. And so they started it 10 foot from the fence. And then from there, they used the floor plan because that's what has all the dimensions on it. The plot plan doesn't necessarily have any home dimensions. So they turned to the floor plan and, formed the house up from there.
Well, just so you'll know in the future, usually when a builder is involved, we have broken slabs because we have not approved. So, not saying that's what we're gonna do in this case, but it does to me, when you're the one putting those little stakes in the ground to show where to put this house, ultimately, somebody has to take responsibility for measuring from the center of the road. That's where the line starts, that's where it should be measured from. I'm
Well,
sorry
ma'am,
your
I'll be-
clients and the draftmen aren't here tonight,
Right.
but the problem that we have is when we make rulings and decide to give a variance or not to give a variance, we're setting a precedence. And the next builder that comes in and says, oh, well, you know, I had this plot plan, but it turns out to be wrong.
But that's what a builder, that's what we go off of, man.
I understand.
I mean, all of, whenever we build a house, it's off of how the draftsman, how wide the walls are, what the dimension between the doors are, you know, all of that is, that's what they get paid to do. And, you know, we worked, I've built hundreds of homes. This has never happened before. And I'll be honest with you, I've used the same engineer for 12 years, and I always call him whenever we form a house up beforehand, and I tell him, hey, we forming the house up. You need to go do a form survey. If we have any issues, you know, give me a call, okay? Because once we form it up, it's still a week and a half before we actually pour the concrete. It gives me a little time just to double check and make sure there's no encroachments. We have never, in 12 years, probably 400 houses, I've never had anything like this happen before.
And your engineer didn't catch it this time either, that
No,
this
and I
house is 4 foot bigger?
I called about it, but they were busy, and instead of going and doing the survey, the form survey in a timely fashion like he was supposed to, he waited till I poured the slab and I called him. At that point, all they're supposed to do is verify that concrete's in the form and sign the slab survey to get to the bank. That's all he should do. Well, he was dragging, and it took a couple days when usually it takes about 2 hours for him to get it for me. So I called, and finally, that's whenever he produced it. They went and measured it after we poured the slab. And
And the slab for the house and the garage have both been poured?
yes, ma'am, the entire thing, we poured it all together, and we framed the house. We stopped once we realized this happened, and we haven't done any more work. It's sitting there, you know, slab poured and frame, decking on, it's at that stage.
Question for Lance. Lance, on the back side, it's showing 9.5 feet from the property line on the map.
Yes, sir.
So they have a 9-foot variance. So they're within that variance, right? They're not past.
No, they requested 11 foot, now they're gonna be 9 feet. So originally it was 11 feet from the rear that they could receive the variance on. So now
Well,
they're gonna be.
but
Well, the
that's
back on the
slab.
commission action, on that page that you included in the packet for commission action, it says rear 9 feet, front 27 feet. That's the variance, or is that where
Yes, sir,
the?
that's the variance. Yes,
That's
sir.
not the line where it should be.
Correct, yes, sir, it's a variance.
Okay.
Okay,
So-
but if the slab's at 9.5, do you have an overhang there at the rear?
I think the
How much
9.5
of
is
an
the
overhang are
overhang.
you having?
It's typically around 12 inches.
So the variance for the 1.5 feet, is that for the front of that's for the front of the back?
It's the back.
Back for the rear.
For the rear,
yard,
they
but
don't-
It's actually the side of the house.
What about the front?
The front is going to be 2 feet additional.
Okay. All right. Anybody else have
Okay,
any?
again, in the front, the slab is 25 feet. Is there an overhang that we need to take into consideration there also?
On, let me see.
The front,
Are you considering the overhang in the 2 feet?
No, sir, I did not.
So it'd be 3 feet.
Correct, roughly, yes, sir.
Well, here it is. Okay.
It's 2.5 for the back and 3 feet for the front.
Correct. Yeah, 3 feet on the front.
What is behind you on Oak Alley Estates?
There's a fence along the property line right there.
Okay.
I think it goes the entire length of the,
And there's a house on that lot behind you?
yes, sir.
Will there be gutters? Is there any plan to put gutters along the back of it?
There's not, it's an Acadian-style house, so all the roof will drain to what are the side yards, but the house actually sits on the lot sideways. So the rear that we're talking about as far as setback is actually the side of the house. So all the drainage is gonna go left and right on the lot.
All right, let's open it up, public comment period. Have a seat for a sec. I'm gonna open it up for public comment period. If anybody has anything for or against this variance, please come forward. Sign in. Got a tough crowd tonight. All right. Closing public comment period. Do I hear a motion, discussion? Anybody else got any questions?
The only thing I was gonna ask was, drainage on the side behind Oak Alley. I mean, I know Oak Alley probably has a drainage servitude along the fence, but, I mean, you got 9 feet there. I mean, do you have a ditch or anything? You kinda,
Yeah, come on, back up, yeah.
His lot, and it's all family land. I mean, it's him, his dad, that's all, and his cousin lives across the street. But whenever that was done, the lot drains from the fence all the way to the road. There's the ditches along on either side of the road, Hackberry Lane, and everything drains from the
And
fence.
then
to
it probably
there.
drains to the top of your
Yeah, I
drawing
seen-
here with that drainage ditch up at the
I
top.
seen that servitude up there.
Oak Alley Estates is gonna drain to the streets and probably has gutters in the streets, so. Any motions?
I'm gonna go ahead and move that we give the homeowner the 3 foot in the front and 1 foot in the back, well, wait,
2.5 in the back.
no, it shouldn't be 2.5.
You got the
It's
overhangs.
already 9.
Is it 2.5 or
And-
1.5? If we do the overhang,
Got the overhang.
Yeah,
No,
was it
with
over-
the overhang, I should bring it down to 8. Well, the total. The side yard is 25 feet. Okay, another 1 foot in the back, which will put them at 8. Because they're at 9 right now. And the slab is at 9.
well, no, but at
Well,
9,
the
they're
slab is
asking
at
for 1.5 right now.
9.5. The slab is at 9.5. If I give him 12 inches in the back, it brings him to 8.5. So if I give him 8, I'm giving an extra half of a foot. Correct?
How you want
The
it written?
front will be 24, and the back will be 8 foot.
And you're including the first variances we gave them?
Yeah, what I'm doing is I'm correcting those variances to show the variance in the front to be 24 feet from the center line, and in the rear, it to be 8 foot instead of the 9 foot that we have right now.
So you good with that? 8 foot for the, well, what we're calling the rear, and 24 foot?
Right. Yes, sir, with the overhang.
Okay. All right, have a motion by Ms. Kathy Desideer. Do I hear a second?
I second that motion.
Oh, maybe Aaron, okay. All right, got a motion by Ms. Kathy Desideer, second by Aaron
Lawler.
Lawler. I'm gonna get used to that. To approve the motion of a variance of a rear 8 foot and front 24 feet. All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, variance passes. All right, next zoning review ID 2443.14 for Brett PT and Chantel Day, located on the south side of Bayou Narcisse Road, approximately 500 feet east of Tallow Ridge Drive. Is there somebody representing this property tonight?
Trying to get it approved to.
Hold on, we're gonna get you sworn in real quick.
Oh, sorry.
Please raise your right hand. You swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Yes, ma'am.
Come.
To get it approved for my brother-in-law to put a trailer on my property. Need,
And so you said it's your brother-in-law?
have one? Yes, sir.
Okay.
And you currently live in the house that's existing on this lot?
Yes, ma'am.
This is the map?
Ooh, I can't see.
Why don't you
it.
come forward?
I can't see that.
Is this your lot?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, where's the house?
Right here, there actually is a trailer pad already, right here. It's got the logo.
Okay, why don't you kind of draw it in there for me? And so that's a trailer pad, but there's no trailer on it.
No, ma'am. They actually
Okay.
had one there that was moved.
Okay, where's your house?
Yes.
It's in the trees.
That's the roof of it, the black part of the
Okay,
roof.
yeah, I was having trouble telling. Okay, and right now, you're trying to get permission to put in a culvert.
Well, I had went to the state and they denied that. But
Okay.
Actually, my driveway comes in here and I've got to turn here.
Okay, so you have a way that if we allow this,
Yes, ma'am, you can't see any of it, but it actually had a driveway here.
okay?
Used to be fenced in, so all it is was a gravel drive.
Okay, all right, that's what I needed to know. If you go to the second page, this is, I think he wants to put it right there,
Oh, right there.
So
yeah.
normally when we allow these, if we allow them, we do put a stipulation that it can't ever be a rental property. And then also if the person that's we giving the variance for is no longer living in that mobile home, it has to be removed from the property.
Okay.
So just letting you know.
Do we set a time limit on that? Number of days?
You can, but it's usually not enforced. We usually just put a date. Yeah, I mean, you can put a date if we want to. The problem is we haven't seen the reason to do it because we don't know how long they're going to be there. And
My question is once the trailer's there, if the individual moves out, is then there a time limit on how long it can remain there?
you know,
You're saying
well,
that the trailer has to be moved after they move out.
then it has to be moved that day.
That day.
I mean, technically, there's no enforcement that goes out there and checks that. But if the neighbors don't like it and the neighbors see that nobody's living in there, they'll come to the parish, and then the parish will then institute something to have it removed. What we're giving as tools is for the parish or the next door neighbors to be able to do something. You know, so. The issue, if we put a time limit on it, then they may have to come back for another variance also, again, to extend that time.
Yes.
All right, any other questions, Philip?
And the hardship for your brother is,
It's actually my brother-in-law, just got divorced, 2 kids. My wife watches his kids, so she's driving to the other side of town to watch them. It's
Okay.
easier for him to be right there.
Okay. Have a seat, we're gonna open up public comment period. Anybody has anything for or against this variance, please come forward. Okay, closing public comment period. Do I hear a motion? Question, discussion?
Yeah, I'll make a motion to accept that with the exception of the rental property.
Okay.
Second.
All right, got a motion by Mr. Mike Bro, second by Mr. Willie Robinson, with the stipulation it cannot be a rental property. All those in favor?
Aye.
All right. Variance passes. All right. Next zoning review ID 2444.14 for lot 3A-1 for Doug Eagers, located on the south side of Movie Dixon Road, approximately 250 feet east of Trinidad Drive. Somebody here to represent that?
Yes, sir.
Raise your right hand, please. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Okay, tell us what you're trying to do. And what hardship you got?
I would like to build a garage on my property, but the way the property is situated and have some very large, beautiful oak trees, there's just no other way to put a garage of any size there except for building closer to the lot lines. And also with that, the former owner pretty much gravelled the whole backyard in that area, so it just looks like a parking lot. Grass is never gonna grow here, and it would be a perfect place to build a garage. It would increase the value of the home, definitely give me some more utility for my property, and that's what I would like to do.
Is it just like for cars? Or
Yes, sir.
It's
Yep.
not like a working
Nope,
garage
not
or
at all.
business?
No, just,
I'm thinking noise and all. It's
Nope.
pretty close to the line.
just my own vehicles and a, small area for a workshop. Nothing commercial.
How far from the property line you're trying to go? 2 feet?
Yes, sir.
Is that a fence along that property line?
Yes, there is.
And this is behind your house?
Yes, ma'am.
Can you show us on this map? If you can
Yes,
draw
sir.
it on, 'cause I believe that's the property there. We should go down.
Okay, as you can see, everything is covered in trees. Right here is the house. What I would like to do is put the garage right here. And like I said, you can't see it because of the trees, but everything from the house over here is all gravel up to that fence. Thank you. You bet.
They go in that corner there.
Oh, okay.
Kind of changes where I thought it was.
So that's a fence on the backside of the gravel area?
It's right on the back side of the property. There is a small mobile home court
That's-
right there.
How close is that mobile home? Because
They are
it's
closer
right
than
on
20
it.
feet.
Yeah, I know. Figured you'd have two structures within 15 feet of one another.
It wouldn't be that close. They kind of seem to be jogged. It's kind of hard to tell.
Oh, yeah.
2 feet's kind of a lot.
Yes.
I mean, it's kind of small to even squeeze back there.
But I was figuring 2 feet would be enough just to get back in there to weed eat, maintain it, so it would still look okay.
And if it's on fire,
Pardon
and
me?
if the building's on fire, how close do you think that would be to that trailer behind it or that fence to get in there or to put the fire out or do anything like that? That's usually what we look at when it's too close to like a fence. We usually, that's one reason why a yard's 5, which,
On the side of the property, I could come back. That would be no problem. It's the back side that I would really like to get as close as I possibly could.
So you have more buildable space on your lot already?
All I can do is just
Buildable.
come to the side. Like I said, because of the trees, there's just really no other place to put this thing, and it has to be situated just in that way to make it work.
I would be comfortable if it's just, if you go back to 5 feet on the side, then you don't need a variance for the side, and then do 5 feet in the back, and that would put you at a 15-foot variance versus, and that would give you 5 feet around the building, which would give you a little bit more, that if that was the side of the property, it would,
Right.
you wouldn't need a variance either.
Right,
But we rarely go less than 5.
on the back.
You go less than 5, you're almost looking like a 0 lot line house, which
Right.
means it's got to have a firewall and everything on the side with no windows and pretty much everything fire rated for a 0 lot line house.
Yes, sir. Anything under 3 feet is going to require that. That's going to be habitable, though. I don't know if a shed would be considered that or not, so.
How tall would the shed be, or the garage, I'm sorry?
Probably about 12 feet at the max.
Is that with the roof or without the roof?
That would be with the roof, ma'am.
Okay.
Will it be attached to the home?
No, no, sir.
Okay. Is it possible that you can build it 5 foot from the fence all the way around on the two sides?
Let's say if you dropped it down like 35 feet instead of 40.
Tell us what your minimum thing that you think you're gonna be able to put that in there as.
I could make the 5 feet work.
Okay?
If I absolutely had to. I'd just have to, change the plans of the building.
Any other questions?
The variance is going to dictate the size of the garage that I can build, because there, like I said, I'm not sure if you have the diagram that I sent, but there's a tree.
Yeah, I
that
see
I'm
the
fitting
diagram,
between.
and I see
Yeah.
like 17 foot from the house. And that's, and then the garage has a 16-foot wide door and an 8-foot wide door on the other one. I would feel more comfortable if it had 5 foot around than definitely going less than 5 foot, I guess we're lucky Jim's not here tonight. Because Jim, being the fireman, would not have kept his mouth shut.
And it is going to be a metal building if there's a fire concern, so
Yeah.
that's,
Well, I just get concerned even with garages, because, a lot of times that's where your chemicals are going to be stored, your gas, diesel, even cans and stuff like that are in there, so, garage almost makes it worse than a house. You're not having anybody living in there, but that's where all your flammables are going to be at in the garage. All right, any other questions?
Is it a wooden fence around that property?
yes, sir. It's a 6-foot privacy fence, I think they call them.
All right,
My only thing is water again. Is there like a kind of ditch? I know Moody Dixon area is real flat, so.
Yes,
have
pretty
any
much
kind of-
everything flows to the street. There's no ditch in the back at all, nothing.
I know
no
that
drainage.
trailer park doesn't have any ditches or anything inside of it, so.
No.
Okay. Have a seat, we're going to open up public comment period. Anybody has anything for or against this variance, please come forward. Okay, closing public comment period. I hear a motion, questions, discussion.
I'm gonna move that we, do a 5-foot, side yard on the side. And that's where it was, how many feet on the side,
Yeah, 2.
Lance?
2 around.
Well, the side is 5 feet, so we wouldn't need a variance.
Okay.
We can deny that
It's just the
variance and then
back.
approve the other one.
The back was 20 foot?
Yeah, so it'd be a
Okay,
variance of
I'm
5
gonna
foot.
give him a 15-foot variance on the back.
Back 15 feet. All right, and side 0.
Mm-hmm.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
I got a motion by Ms. Kathy, second by Mr. Willie, for the back having a 15-foot variance and then a side variance of 0. So I think we're denying the side and variance and approving the back at 15. All those in favor?
Aye.
All right. Next zoning review ID, 2004-45.14 for Lot 2 of the Dickey property, Esquivel, that's a tough one, property for Rashish Investments located north side of LA Highway 70, approximately 1,200 feet west of LA Highway 3120. Is somebody here to represent this?
Yes, sir.
Please get sworn in.
Raise your right hand, please. You swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, tell us what you're trying to do and what's your hardship.
All right, sir. We're trying to put up another hotel in Donaldsonville. It's across the river on the other side. We need a little bit of a height variance because the building we're trying to fit on the Dickey Escobar's lot, it needs to go up, it cannot go any further. The minimum requirement for that franchise is 64 rooms plus. We're doing minimum of 64 rooms. The franchise itself has a signature look. It has a signature tower that is exceeding the height. It doesn't serve any purpose other than the signage that goes on it. It's mainly for the looks and just the visibility.
How tall is the hotel and how tall is your sign? Is
The
your sign the
hotel-
one that's,
I'm sorry?
is your sign the 45 feet 45.08?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and how tall is the hotel?
The building itself is, let's see, let me get my contractor with his plans.
Looks like 37.6.
Right,
Okay.
something like that. How tall is the building? 37, 38?
The main parapet for most of the building is 37 feet high.
Okay,
And just the tower gets to 45. It's one of the brand standards and requirements, so.
So we're looking for a height of 4508 is for just the sign? Because I don't want to do one blanket height for that whole piece of property.
No, it's gonna be for the tower of the building that the sign's gonna be on. It's
You talking about the center part of the building?
Correct, yes, sir.
is there something in the tower that's above the 37.6 feet that's habitable?
No, ma'am, I don't believe so.
No, ma'am.
Is it all trim above there?
Is it trim above it?
So like it's all like a eave or something like when you doing the hotel, the roof, where's the roof actual line, not the trim around the sides?
The roof of the main building?
Yeah.
Is at 30 feet.
Okay.
Right at 30 feet, and the parapet steps up to the 37 to cover all the equipment, rooftop equipment.
Correct.
And then the tower goes up to the 49 feet because they want to see that building, that's their standard.
That look.
And we've already lowered it below the standard. We got permission from Choice to drop it down, I think, 2.5 feet from their normal standard. But their sign height and everything is why they won't let us lower it any more than that.
Now here's the question when we usually give height variances for hotels. Is it sprinklered? It's got a sprinkler
Hotel
system in it?
sprinkled? The hotel's sprinkled.
Okay. Okay.
The majority of the height, though, above the 37.5 feet is simply for the signage, correct?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, just the center tower of it, and that's for them to put their big old sign on, round sign. The rest of it's parapet to cover the equipment, which is 2 feet above, plus or minus an inch above the 35-foot standard.
Will they have another standalone sign on the property? Like along the road or
They have
something?
one out on the road, a distance away, a pylon, but it's not the brand stamp. We wouldn't be able to put anything on the building if we didn't have the tower.
Okay.
You tell them about the fire chief.
I met with the fire chief yesterday. He sent me a letter this afternoon stating he has no issues with it. There is sufficient water supply there. There is plenty of fire hydrants for them to reach up should there be a fire or anything like that. So he's okay with it. He's reviewed the plans yesterday.
You say he gave you a letter. Okay.
Go ahead.
Yes, sir, he gave me a letter.
You have a copy of it?
I have it on my phone because it just came in a little while ago. I could show it to you on here.
Yeah, one of the biggest things on this that we've always pushed is before, they used to come in and be 3 stories and wouldn't have a sprinkler system in at all. And none of these fire departments would have ladder trucks to even get there quick enough and get up high enough.
Liability.
Yeah, so that's why if it's, the variances to the height, one, you're not putting rooms higher than that, and it's just gonna be equipment they're hiding on the sides, and then it has a sprinkler system, so. Any other questions? All right, have a seat. If anybody would like to say anything for or against this variance, please come forward. All right, closing public comment period. Do I hear a motion?
Make a motion to approve the variance as stated.
with sprinklers.
Yeah,
With
let's add that
sprinklers.
with sprinklers,
With
just to make sure we're covered. To make sure that the building, the variance goes with, as long as there's sprinklers within the building. You okay with that?
Yes, sir.
Do I hear a second?
I'll second it.
Okay. Got a motion to approve by Mr. Willie, second by Ms. Kathy, to approve as written, as long as the stipulation was that sprinklers will be required in the building to receive the height variance. All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, motion passes. Zoning, we're now going to zoning review ID 2446.14, Lot 5 at the Ascension Marketplace for Lamarck/Airy, located on northeast end of Marketplace Avenue, to request a variance of Marketplace Avenue. Please get sworn in and tell us what you're trying to do.
Please raise your right hand. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
My name's Ruben Patel, and we sent you all a letter concerning our request to increase the minimum height on our proposed building to 59 feet compared to the 35-foot that is, I think, the standard for that area. The reason for that, similar to the last individual, we're building a hotel 3-story that requires certain requirements, and I have some pictures for you if you all need to see that. Some of the specs that you are looking for include a height of 58.8, which is basically the same thing as the signage. There's not going to be anybody living in that area. There's no way to live in that area. The rooftop is actually going to be 45 1.5 inches, and the third floor residence part has a max of 30 2 inches. Similar to the last request, our land issues are we cannot go further out, and also the Choice property will not allow that. They wanted certain specifications, and I have, like I said, I have their proposed model if you want to see that. Concerning the height restrictions, and understand the issues with fire and safety, we have a letter from Ray Poche stating that he has a ladder that'll cover up to 109 feet in case there's any problems. In addition, I thought it was standard that if you went to a 3-story building, you had to have fire sprinklers, because that's what we have in our other properties. So I didn't know you had, what was a variance, so that's already standard.
Well, it's not a variance, it's just a requirement of our variances for anything at 3 stories. The code might have changed since then, since fire marshal codes changed, but it used to be that sprinklers were not required at 3-story a while back, so we've just kind of made sure that they're in there now.
Yeah, I know. We have a property we built in 94 that we have fire sprinklers in. So
Where's this going to be located at?
this is behind the McDonald's on exit 173. Behind the racetrack, sorry.
Yeah, those are racetrack.
Racetrack and
Yes, sir.
They're
McDonald's.
developing that.
Yeah.
The road that goes back to it, is that a parish, is it gonna be a parish road? That's all private, huh? It is?
It's a parish road.
I know right now, I mean, it just goes to the
Yeah, it just
racetrack.
goes to the racetrack and you turn around there, but it's
It's gonna be
I just heard
extended.
Mr. Pickard say it's a parish road.
Underneath your roof, is that all your mechanical? Underneath the shingle roof, that's all AC units and all, or?
That I don't know. I don't know that.
I just worry, cause you know, like you
I'm
can
trying
get
think
to
of
it.
our other projects. I'll have to get back to you. I'm sorry about that.
That's cool.
It's a shingle roof or metal roof?
It's shingle.
It's going to be metal.
Metal?
Metal?
It's going to be wood frame or metal frame?
Wood frame.
Wood frame. And so you're really saying everything like in the attic of the hotel is going to be above the 35 feet?
30 foot,
Yeah, 3
point
foot,
2.
2 inches.
30.2.
Okay, so not the whole.
And you're fixed to build this hotel?
Sir,
You fixed to build this hotel and don't you have plans but not with you?
I have the plan for it. not that's gonna show what's gonna be inside. I just have like the standard
Yeah, I was supposed
that
to.
Choice
It's
sends
just the
us about what it
exteriors.
looks like.
And it's your first choice hotel?
No, this is, let me think. 1, 2, 3, 4. Sorry, we've trying to change some of our properties around. This will be our 4th Choice project we built. We built one in 1990, 92, and 2000.
And the question he asked about the AC units, the ones that you built, where were the AC units located?
I didn't build those. It was my brother and my father, so.
Did you ever go there?
I go there all the time, but I didn't go up in the roofs.
You didn't see what, no ACs
No.
on the outside?
Well, no, not like what you would see with a house, or
No,
like
I've
some,
seen
or some
hotels that have
standard, some
ACs on the
standard
back
other-
side of the properties.
No,
Looks like down to the windows.
Right.
but he's talking about more about the central units.
Yeah, I was about to say, you have
doing the-
central units and
doing the
lobbies
hall.
and-
Now, most of those are on the side.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. And then a lot of times the office ACs will be on the outside as well. We don't have a very large unit because again, like he's saying, all the individual units have their own room, and they're facing outside.
Okay.
I just didn't want to make a lie to you saying what's going to be
No.
up there. So-
Right, right.
But most of the units are outside or outside the rooms, as you've kind of seen in a typical property.
Okay.
There's no central air, like in a high-rise hotel, like if you're in Manhattan, where they have central air. We don't have that at this
It's
property.
showing that it's asphalt shingles too. If
Yeah, that's,
made a difference in your question a while ago.
The signage tower, that has no other purpose other than advertising?
No, that's it.
I mean, will they allow that to be lowered?
No. It's a sleep-in mainstay, and they have standards, like they like to do it.
No, I mean, I'm familiar with them.
Yeah, see, like, no, this is for y'all to look at if you want to look at it. And I'll show you exactly how, because you'll see one side of it, right here, is lower, but that's how they require it. As much as, so.
My concern is, just for advertisement purposes, everybody's gonna want a higher sign, a higher building, let's get higher and higher.
Well, they all have them higher over there.
Yeah, I know.
Because I think almost, like Shaw Bills just brought theirs up, but it was under the 34, 35? Shaw Bills.
You talking about the sign?
Yeah, tell him about what
Yeah.
you told me about that, because I questioned that
Yeah,
one.
the issue with the sign is they're allowed to go 60 feet if they're so far from the interstate. There's property within a distance from the interstate, they're allowed to go up to 60 feet for a sign, for a pylon sign.
So if they put a sign now on their property, they probably can go up to 60 feet as it is
Yes.
without a variance.
And will there be a separate pylon sign?
Yes, sir.
And will that be at the 60-foot mark? Do we know how high that's going to be?
I do not know how high it's gonna be.
I guess my thought on it is why are we having two signs that are gonna be above variance height? Yeah, I'm not always for just increasing advertisement for advertisement's sake.
No, I understand what your question is, and just what I can tell you from our past projects is usually the interstate signs, the ones that are showing on the interstate are always much higher, facing the interstate or trying to get interstate attraction, but the building signs are not as high. I think the only reason for this is, from what I've seen with the other sleep-in projects, is that's their standard. And then even if you have an interstate sign or one that's facing the interstate, again, it's just their model. It's a good question. It's a good thought, and I understand you don't want to go, the next person's going to go, well, Mr. Patel got it this high, why can't we go higher? I realize that, and I wish there was something I could do about it, but then there's not much I can do. We'd like to build something, 2 stories, but again, the requirement here is 3 stories, and then with that 3-story, it makes that signage that much higher. In land costs, too, right. Right, and if we try to extend out the building, we're talking about further land costs as well, so.
Any other questions? All right, have a seat. We're going to open it up for public comment period. Anybody has anything for or against this variance, please come forward. Just sign in for me, sir.
My name is Lee Pickard. I represent Lamarck. I'm the developer.
Okay.
As he's described, the hotel sits on the back side of the property. They don't have signage on 73. Their sign on the building will be basically facing the 73 and that kind of thing, behind racetrack, behind McDonald's and that kind of thing. So another reason for some degree of height, for the sign itself on the building. A sign is allowed on the interstate on the back side of the property, and as you know, that there's a ramp there crossing over 73. So I don't know how high the ramp is, but it's probably over 35 feet. So the sign, would naturally have to extend above that if they want to get, some visibility, from the interstate. There's also a billboard on the other side, across from the McDonald's, that is probably at least 50 feet. So,
Okay.
just so y'all have a little better perspective.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else? All right, closing public comment period. We're here discussion.
I'm going to
Question?
make a motion that we approve, but once again, I'm also going to say we're approving with the stipulation that the hotel be sprinkled.
Okay. Sprinkler system installed.
Yes.
Do I hear a second?
I'll second that.
All right. Got a motion by Ms. Kathy, second by Mr. Mike, to approve as written with the sprinkler requirement, that they're required to have sprinklers for the variance. All those in favor?
Aye.
All right. Variance passes. Our last one. Zoning Review ID 2447.14, Lot 194 of Old Dutchtown, fourth filing for BLD Builders, Danny and Shelley Turner, located on the east side of Dutchtown Mill Drive, approximately 100 feet up north of Dutchtown Point Avenue.
Please raise your right hand. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes. What we've got, we're asking for a front building line variance on the property. I'm not quite sure how it happened, to be honest with you, how it got over the 25-foot building line here. I'm not sure if it's because, do y'all have a picture? I'm not sure if it's because the building line turned or what have you, and he set the front left corner before he set the right corner. I'm not exactly sure what happened there. But that's what I'm asking for a variance for, to make this work.
And at what stage is the house?
It's framed and sheetrocked. We didn't, I didn't know we had an issue until, it's kind of like the guy earlier, until we got the slab survey from the surveyor.
I think the one thing you got on your side is you didn't ask for a variance before this one, huh?
Yeah, it wasn't intentional.
And that's just the garage, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
And it's just this one little bitty
Corner.
corner,
A little pie slice.
correct?
Yes, ma'am.
It's probably because they didn't want to turn the house, and they just wanted to keep it straight to the road. Okay, any other questions? All right, have a seat. We're gonna open it up for public comment period. Anybody here for or against this variance, please come forward. Y'all don't want to support him at all?
They here, they say they here.
All right, since there's nobody else in the audience, we'll go ahead and close public comment period. Are there any motion, discussion, questions?
Well,
I got it.
ahead.
I'm gonna give him a gift, but understand, if it ever happens again, everything needs to be measured before these are poured. Normally, when it's a builder, we just have you break up the concrete. I do realize how expensive of a lesson that is. So hopefully, we won't have to teach you that in the future. So since it is just a garage corner, I'm gonna move that we allow the variance.
Second that motion.
That was Aaron.
Yes.
All right. Willie, did you have a question, or you want to do a motion? All right. All right, got a motion to approve as written by Ms. Kathy, second by Mr. Aaron. All those in favor?
Aye.
All right. Next on the agenda, old business. Any old business? Any new business anybody want to bring up?
Not from over here. No,
Any new
sir.
business anybody want to bring up?
No, sir.
Do we have a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion.
There you go,
Adjourn.
Willie, you can make that one. Second?
And I'll second.
All right. Got a motion by Mr. Willie Robinson, second by Mr. Mike Brew to adjourn. All those in favor?
Aye.
We are adjourned.